Hello, everyone. This is Statler,
And I'm Waldorf.
and we're here to talk about the Path of Necromancy
Yep. This is the undead guys.
for
The Vampire Covenant.
Vampire Covenant. Yes, these are the guys that if you ever watch Jason and the Argonauts when they racing all those skeletons.
That's what mine look like.
Exactly, that was the inspiration of of a lot of kids in the '70s, which we remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it in reruns.
Yeah.
That was what it was.
Yeah, the third time.
Swag.
So yeah. So the path attribute, cheating death, range of 12. It's an augment. It's instant. Target unit or a single character inside the unit. Target unit raises 1 wound. No unit can be affected by this spell more than twice in a single magic phase.
12-inch range.
12-inch range, and it's basically a way for you to get some of your wounds back, which is important to the Vampire Covenant army.
Yep. Stand up a Black Knight.
Example, Black Knight, whatever, Bar Knight,
Oh, sorry.
help your vampire out.
Correct.
If you're playing those very expensive,
Yeah.
they're called Red Knights,
Or just tag a wound back on a character, whatever.
Exactly.
It's a very nice lore attribute.
It's a nice
Path attribute.
I do like that it's limited to you can't do it twice in a single magic phase
Right.
on the same guy, so you can't.
Yeah, especially with some of the lower casting costs they have
Exactly.
later on, if you notice.
Yeah, and so a lot of the guys are quite potentate.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
All right. The default spell is the Invocation of the Undead. This casts on a 5, has a boosted version of a 5, and a third boosted version of 11. Casting on a 5, it has a range of 18, or you can cast it on a 5 and have an aura of 6. And the 11 gives you the aura of 12. It's an augment spell. That's not a good sound for the necromancy guys. You're stuck with your good guys.
I feel like I'm dying. So
And you
it's
have
appropriate.
vampires too, so you do have a bad guy army.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's an instant. The target raises a number of wounds as stated in its unit profile under invocation. A unit that doesn't have an invocation value cannot be targeted by this spell. This is a great spell. It's a 0. It's what they need. You're raising up all your dead guys, all the guys that get killed. I believe it'll also bring, depending on who you are, it'll bring zombies and skeletons up over their starting value. If you're a necromancer, I think, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
And all the different versions of cast this at, I think this is fantastic.
Right, and then the actual number of wounds are specified on each unit in the army book, and we'll see
Correct.
that when we do army book review. Cheaper guys, you can bring a lot more guys up. More expensive ones, it's more difficult.
Right.
And as you said, certain troops you can go above. Then you have a vampire attribute. I don't remember what they're called, where you can actually boost some other units like creatures of the night and things of that nature. Yeah.
Oh, very
So,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, fantastic. A lot of options. Good spell. I love a spell that has a ton of options to it like this.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's important for this particular army.
Yes.
For the vampires, just because when you want to get that feel of hordes of guys, they don't fight too well,
Right.
depending on which vampire you take. But to be able, so you need to be able to keep getting them back. It's a good thing.
All right.
Brings us to the first spell, the Mockery of Life. I mock you.
Yes, you do.
Casting value of 6. I mock your life. Casting value of 6.
Even worse.
Boosted value of 10. Has a range of 12. It's an aura, another aura.
The boost is the aura.
Yeah, your turn.
Or I'm not doing that.
Oh, you're no fun. It's an augment. It lasts one
Surprised you
turn.
didn't bring that little soundbite on your phone.
Yeah, there you go. I should have done that. Yeah. Target may reroll fail to wound rolls and gains fear. Very nice.
Casting of 6, range of 12. Really good spell.
Yeah, this is particularly important now because the Vampire Covenants have a number of special and rare units that cause fear, but none of their core units cause fear.
Core units no longer cause fear.
So having this ability to get fear pretty much in your entire army as important it is with the -1 and as the striking value,
Yeah.
especially since a lot of you guys have low weapon skill, is very helpful for this army. Then the re-rolling fail to wound rolls, it's
Yeah,
very nice
fantastic.
because you got a lot of guys with low to
Mid-strength.
moderate strength.
Mhm.
So especially if you're winning on 5s, now you're re-rolling that. It ends up being a nice good probability of getting some wounds through.
And the boosted, the Aura 10,
Yes.
everyone within 12 inches gaining that re-rolling to wound and fear
Yes.
is really
It's
good.
really good.
Anyway, good spell.
Yeah.
Brings us to number 2, the Dead
I
Arise.
actually think the casting value of 10 one is a little low for what it
I
gets.
agree,
Yeah.
but it's, as it is good. So 2 is the Dead Arise, cast on a 7 or a 9. Range is 12, boost of 24. Ground, instant. Summon a unit from the ones with the Awaken X special rule of the caster. Choose before casting, with as many wounds as given by the invocation profile of the unit. This unit must be placed with at least one model on the target point and all models within the range. All upgrades except command group are allowed. This is raise a unit of, I don't have the book, but it's probably skeletons, zombies. Maybe more, but skeletons or zombies, raising a unit somewhere within 24 inches for 9 is free chaff. This is a really good spell.
Well, I think it's more than that, but yeah.
I'm just saying, basically it's free chaff. Then follow it up with the invocation and hit them again. Now you've got a sizable unit instantly.
Right. Yeah,
Nice spell.
if I'm playing this army, I love this spell. I'm not a fan of it for the game, though. Anytime you can create something out of nothing that you didn't pay any points for,
Right.
that can have a strong effect in the game, I think it's a bad thing. You can raise a unit behind the guy's enemy lines and boost it up a little bit, and now you got to worry about being hit in the rear and losing steadfast.
Right.
So
That's a good point.
yeah, I think that's and being able to instant chaff can be quite powerful, especially since it's 24. You can usually get within 24 of most things on the table, and then boom, all of a sudden that cannon's got a whole bunch of guys sitting in
Yeah,
front
it's
of it.
got a ton of guys sitting in front of it that it can't get through. And,
Right, where everybody else has to actually move to get something there.
Right.
So I'm not a fan of the spell for the game. I know it's very popular in all undead armies and other game systems.
Right, to raise a unit out of nothing. Yes.
But for what you're paying, and you don't get anything for killing it, so you have to
Yes,
spend time
that's true.
chewing through it. I just don't like it for that purpose. But having it in the army, it's a wonderful thing,
Yeah.
especially for an army that it can be slow moving. I say can be because there's ways around that too. But yeah.
That is correct.
Number 3 is the Danse Macabre. The casting value is 8. The boosted version is 12. Range is 12 inches. It's an for the boosted version. It's an augment. It's instant and lasts 1 turn. The target may perform an 8-inch magical move, and or in the boosted, rerolls fail to hit rolls in close combat. Choose which for each target before casting the spell. For the magical move, I think is
So, let me make sure I get this right. You can perform an 8-inch magical move and reroll failed to hits in close combat. For 8. And on the boosted version, it's a 12 aura, and then you have to choose whether to move or reroll in combat.
correct.
Okay. Oh, all right. Sorry, I had to interrupt. Had to make sure I got that right.
So this is a nice spell. Once again, this army can be somewhat slow moving, so the ability to get your guys forward is important. It can be quite potent with your ability to summon guys,
Mm-hmm.
and then once again, another opportunity to reroll hits.
Yeah, on an 8.
Is a good thing. So you've got a few of those for quite often low weapon skill guys, low to medium weapon skill guys. So nice spell.
Yeah.
Fits the army well, I think. Give you that relentless.
Yeah, I
Swarms
agree.
coming at you.
It does because this can actually move your whole a good chunk of your army
Right.
forward.
And if you're playing more of a elite army, it's a good way to get maybe something that failed a charge out of the way, or something that's trying to get around the flank out of line of sight out of the way with the magical move.
Right.
If you happen to be close to it. But it's really, because of the short range, it's really about moving your main guys most of the time.
Right. Or, like you said, you got a big, huge scrum in the middle of the board, and you roll the aura, re-rolling to hit. It's good.
Right.
Great spell.
No, it is.
Another spell with an option, which I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Spell 4 is the Gaze of Satesh. Cast on a 9 or 11. Range of 24, boost of 48. That's really nice. Hex, missile, damage, instant. 2d6 strength 4 hits. 9's a little pricey for a 2d6 strength 4, but it's a good spell. The 11 boosted puts that up to 48 inches, which is fantastic to me.
Yeah.
If it was an 8, 11, I think this would be a really good spell, but at 9, it's still a good spell. I just think it's a little high for...
I tend to agree. I think it's a little high. I mean, a 2d6 magic missile is always a nice thing to have. Something that gets rid of chaff pretty effectively. The casting value, yeah, maybe slightly high, but some of the other things might be slightly low. And for an army that doesn't have any shooting, really,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gives you that shooting.
Yeah, you get the screaming equivalent, but those are all short range
Those are short
things.
range.
It gives you something. So I think it's fine for the army. Steel Youth. That's what happened to us. Number 5. Yes.
We suffered from this.
Yes, we suffer from that.
Many
Can we
times.
blame the Ninth Age
I think
folks?
so.
Let's
Let's sue them.
Let's sue them. Shame they're not in the U.S. because you sue for everything in the U.S. Casting value is 10. Range is 18. That's a hex, and it's direct damage. Remains in play. Nice, remains in play. Or one of our personal favorite things to see.
Remains in play.
Yeah, it's almost as good as permanent. At the end of each magic phase, each model in the target unit suffers 1 hit with armor piercing 6. So no armor save, basically. And multiple wounds, 2 for monstrous infantry, monstrous cav, monstrous beast. Swarms, monster, ridden monster, chariots, war machine. So basically anything big and swarms. That wounds on a 6+. These hits gains +1 to wound for each player turn that has ended since the spell was cast. So it's very nice because it's hitting the target unit on every player turn.
And it's getting harder, hitting harder and harder
it's
every
hitting
time.
harder and harder. So you might let it slip on the first turn, saying, I'll take the risk of some 6s.
When he casts it, yes.
When he casts
but you
it.
have to get rid of
But
it.
now on your
spell.
turn,
Yes.
a third of your unit may be going away. So you're kind of afraid of it.
Yeah, especially if you're monstrous infantry or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
or if you're a ridden monster or a war machine, or a chariot.
Yeah.
Figure a character on there. You're thinking, I've got a 30% chance of my
Oh.
thing just going away. If
Even
I'm
a
on
war
the board.
machine, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
So nice
So-
spell.
So it's a nice spell. Casting value is not too high.
No,
Little short as far as doesn't go very far, which I think is perfect for this spell because of its
Yes.
capability.
correct. No, I like this a lot.
So I like
good
this
spell.
a lot for this
Very
spell.
good, solid spell.
And once again, for an army that has challenges doing
Shooting.
based damage.
Yeah. Curse of the Dead, number 6 spell. Cast on a 12. Range is 18. It's an augment. Lasts 1 turn.
How does somebody who's dead curse you?
I don't know. How do they have musicians?
That's true.
Unless
Just
they're
understand.
strumming a banjo, whatever. Last 1 turn. Target gains +1 strength. Regen 5+. Models with an already existing regeneration have this increased by 1 to a maximum of 4+. +1 strength and regeneration. This is okay. It's actually fantastic if you don't have... I think this is a really good spell if you do not have regeneration already. It's decent. It's okay if you don't. But to give an entire unit +1 strength and regen 5, that's pretty powerful.
It is.
And it casts on a 12. I mean, you can... It's a 4 dice to reliably get it, but you can try to slip it through on 3 if you have it.
Well, I'm the opposite because if you look at this army, what are the things that have regeneration?
Usually they're bigger stuff.
Right. So you got their monstrous infantry, whatever they're called now,
Right.
the big ghouls. +1 strength on those guys because they're strength 4.
Oh, that's a
Makes
good
them
point.
strength 5.
That's true.
That's for a
big
monstrous
bonus.
infantry that now makes them kind of scary, right?
And they're region 5.
Right, now you make them regen 4. That makes
Okay.
that unit pretty darn good. So, I think
So it's like built for that,
It-
almost built for that
it can
unit.
be built for that. Now, I'm not going to say I don't mind giving +1 strength to
Your Grave Guard.
to the Grave Guard either
Exactly.
with a 5-up regen.
With a 5-up regen across the board for your valuable
not
models.
bad at all. Or if I can get it on the
Your Barrow Knights or whatever they are.
the flying monstrous infantry.
Correct.
I can't remember what they're called. Now they go from strength 5 to strength 6.
Yes.
Which is very
Huge.
scary because their friends already have a lot of attacks, and they have no protection now. They have regen, so I think this actually fits really
good
well and even skeletons with spears go from strength 3 to strength 4.
Yeah.
With their armor piercing, that
So that's -2 to your armor.
yeah, that can do some damage.
Yeah.
I think this is a
Yeah, right. You've convinced me.
It's
That's
a
a much
hidden
better
gem.
spell than I thought
Yeah,
originally.
yeah,
and this is it's only at 12 casting.
yeah. I mean, it's
For
high.
the big spell.
And it's something you have to dedicate yourself to, but it can do a lot for you.
Looking over this entire lore, that's the highest casting they have is 12.
Correct.
Even in their boosted versions.
Correct.
So this is a lore where you've got the ability to cast. It's kind of built to casting multiple spells per turn.
It is. I'm kind of surprised I don't have a few more lower casting spells, just because of the nature of the army
Right.
and the whole idea about getting lots of spells off. And maybe it's how I think about undead type of
Right.
armies, just relentless magic coming at you.
Okay. I can kind of see that, I guess.
But nothing is really high. Everything's kind of in the moderate.
Mhm.
Not too much low. You've got 2 basically low casting values.
The
on
5 and the 6.
7, I guess, too. You can argue you're still in the 2 dice range, but everything else is in the moderate. So you can get off a decent number of spells. I think this is a very nice lore and for the army that it's designed to support.
Yeah, and you also consider that when you're rolling your spells for this army, you're almost always going to be discarding 1 down to the 0
Yes.
for most of your casters. Because unless you're playing the army that doesn't want to raise their own troops, which I can't imagine
yeah.
which one that would be. But
Yeah, no, it's too strong of a ability not to have unless you have something that doesn't give you those abilities. Playing all vampiric troops or something,
Right.
but I think it's a nice lore. I think it really synergizes really well. I think they did a good job with this lore. I don't like the one spell, as I said, not because it's not good, but I don't think it's good for the game.
the Dead Arise.
The raise
Correct.
unit.
Yes.
Never been a fan. I just think it causes other challenges.
That's true. It kind of goes around
It goes around the mechanics.
the mechanics
of
of the
game.
whole thing,
Yeah.
because you're right. You're getting units that you're not paying for.
Right.
You can argue that you paid for it with your caster, but
Well, everyone's paying the same for casters, so that's not really an
yeah,
argument.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
I guess the counter argument is, you can blow up a unit, but still, adding units is a big deal because it just can do so many things.
yep, I agree. So overall, Waldorf, gonna give it a thumbs up. It's a really good lore for the undead, for the
And-
Vampire Covenant.
And Statler gives it a thumbs up also.
All right, that'll do it for the Path of Necromancy.